Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Today we have Pompeii Secrets of the Dead. This is a documentary from National Geographic. It's 44 minutes long. It's from 2019, so it's not that old. It is basically telling us, hopefully, new information about what happened to the people who were trapped under the devastation of the erupting Mount Vesuvius. If you ever visited Pompeii, I have not. They dug up, excavated pretty much a good chunk of the city. I didn't know that, and I never bothered to check to see how it was doing since the Roman Empire days. Not that I was around back then, but still, it was basically, if you don't know the story, Mount Vesuvius, at the height of the Roman Empire, blew up. It erupted, and beyond just tons of rock and ash pouring down on the people, uh, there's also lava just sort of piling down on top of it. They have another term for it, I forget what it is. If you watch Loki, they go to Pompeii, and just moments before the big natural disaster, uh, in one of the episodes. But yeah, anyway, I think it's the second or third episode or so. Yeah, but in this story here, in this documentary they focus on 13 individuals that were excavated, that were discovered back in the 1960s. Um, I guess by an archaeologist, somebody who was digging around, and they they as they were digging, they discovered sort of pockets of space where human bodies had once been, because whatever was inside that area, which was encased inside the lava and everything else, uh, the bodies crumbled to dust, but it left an empty space. And so what they did was they carefully took out each of those areas, or they just filled those areas in and then broke everything away from it, and they were able to create these casts of the bodies within. There was also, I guess, some bone was remained, but yeah, I'm not sure how they did it. They explain it much better in the video. Um, but however, because along with this, of course, they want it was back in the time when everybody was like crazy for mummies and other things, archaeology and all sorts of other things. Back in the early 20th century, early mid 20th century, and the people who did it basically wanted to make it an exhibit. And so the guy who discovered all this, he made up some stuff. So he kind of did his best guess and said, well, these people were farmers, these people were merchants, and these are people that were found fairly close to each other in clusters in the same building. And then they sort of moved them all out, created these casts or whatever, and then put them on display. And so he wrote an article for National Geographic, uh, and and told this elaborate story of what they could figure out from what they discovered, and it's mostly just made up. It's Were they really farmers? Was this guy a merchant? What was this guy doing? Was that a servant? And it's 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 not sure. Nobody, the people who are going through it now in this video, had no idea how he could have determined those kind of things. But they're using 3D mapping technology and X-rays and all sorts of stuff they didn't have available as readily uh, in you know 1960s. They can go in there and they can just start taking photographs and seeing beneath the surface, and they discovered a lot of stuff. And they discover a, probably a better picture, if not conclusive, but at least a better picture of what these people were all about, who they were, how they might have been related to each other. If I mean, there was kids in this thing too, so some that not even more than two, not even 2 years old. It's clustered together with other people. And it came. By the way, the devastation from everything we know, it came really fast, and it hit them really hard. And some people escaped, and some people, well, they're wondering why these people stayed behind. Yeah, they go into the bit of the psychology behind that, and how it's still something that we deal with today with other devastating natural disasters. We see that with floods or with volcanic eruptions as well that happened not too long ago. So yeah, this is 44 minutes, but it's packed full of information. If it's the kind of thing you're into, obviously it's a documentary. It's not doesn't got a princess or a Star War or a superhero in it. Maybe it's not your thing. But if you're interested in a little bit of history, a little bit of science that digs into discovering what life was like back then, who these people were that faced such a horrible end to their lives, and kind of not necessarily puts a face to them, but gives you an idea of what kind of people they were and what they found valuable and why they may have stayed behind in such a way. It might be something up your alley. So, if nothing else, it's educational and make the kids watch it against their will. Some of you might be homeschooling still. Who knows? All right, let's pick tomorrow's episode.
456.
456. Man, everything's so close. Man. Okay, I'm not complaining, but we've got like 3 documentaries in a row now. I kind of want a story. I kind of want something a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, sure, the penguin thing was a story of sorts, but it was all made up. But hey, we're going to learn something a little bit more closer to home than Pompeii. We're going to be looking at the Smoky Mountain Park Rangers. Smoky Mountain Park Rangers is what's coming up next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.